So a few weeks back, Tim and I happened upon quite possibly one of the best trades we could have well stumbled upon. Maybe not quite as good as the Charger, which was the 2 skateboard decks for an entire rotted out car. In this case, we traded some motorcycle parts for this guy. Let's do a quick walk around here. Have a look. 2013 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. Now, it wasn't in this type of shape when we first got it. It was a little bit rustier. We had Ron do some body work on it. We had some rusty rocker panels down there. It does come complete with an upgraded bumper. I do believe it probably had a service stack on the back that moved up and down to pick stuff up. So when it went out of service, this bumper was installed and the tailgate went back on. I'll have a nice look inside here and see. It's a little bit rough, but not too bad. Need to get ourselves a new armrest to track that down, and it does need a good cleaning. Under the hood, pretty good shape. Not a lot of rust or any of that sort of stuff. Now, it does have the 6-liter in it, but this 6-liter has 500,000 kilometers on it, which is wild. I don't think we've ever owned anything that has that high mileage before, but we do have a spare engine if that should actually get to the point where we do need to replace it. So basically the plan is this. This is going to be our towing, hauling truck. Something that we can drive in the bush, drive to a junkyard, not worry about kind of scratching or denting. Spoken to a couple buddies that are mechanics, and they say because it's a 3/4 ton frame, that part of the truck is going to last forever, and if you look after the engine, it should be able to run forever. So we're going to do the usual maintenance stuff, change some oil, put some spark plugs in, but we're also going to do some, we're going to use this as a bit of a project truck too, to do some various different things too. So one, we'll pull this bed liner out eventually. We'll put some Raptor liner on it. But today, what I'm going to start working on is paying attention to these wheel wells. I'm gonna spray them up a bit with some rocker guard to make sure that no further rust. And we're gonna throw some fender flares on. Let's fire it up and see how it sounds. Should start. Just had it running the other day. Ugh. Ticking or clacking. I have had a faint whiff of antifreeze after it's been running for a bit, so I have no idea what that might be. Hopefully it's not a head gasket or any of that sort of stuff, but we'll stay on top of stuff and we will make sure that we keep it running and in good shape. We're done. Got the undercoating on there. Now you'll see here, looks like I made a big mess, but I just wanted to seal up this area for where the fender flare goes on. I'm gonna wait for it to dry up though. Got a little bit of time to deal with that. Other side is all done too. Oh, missed a couple spots, but we're gonna go back through and do a second coat, especially on the back. But the nice thing is I am going to put the fender flares on the front right now. Then I'll probably let the back end dry a little bit more and come back tomorrow and do the back. The one thing that's really nice about these guys are bushwhacker flares, and they are drill free. So they use all of the existing bolt holes and whatnot. I think that there are some clips that go on the back, but you do not have to drill anything. So I'm gonna start with the front now. so there we are, all on. Basically, all I did was fought with them a little bit, but just used all these little 7mm bolts that were already there. Just had to line the holes up, and then we were all set. So one front done. So now it is on to the back flares. Now, apparently this is a little bit easier to do than the others. Maybe not. Hard to see here. These plastic clips go into the existing holes that are here, which then help line things up, and you can start making your marks to put the other clips on down there. Start with this side first, see how it goes. Hopefully it's relatively easy. The front ones were pretty good, but it was just a matter of lining up those screws in the back that were the real problem. Down here, that they were the existing ones. There we go, one side all done. Back end was a little bit tougher than what I thought it would be, but that's also because I didn't read the instructions properly. On to today's big project. As you can see, there is a lot that needs to be dealt with on this old girl. So I'm gonna get started. We're gonna change all the fluids. We're going to change the spark plugs. I'm gonna change filters. I'm gonna do all that sort of stuff. But first, the one thing that I want to do is get this box emptied out so that I can pull out the liner and inspect and make sure that everything's okay on the bed, spray a little bit of easy liner on it, and then throw this box liner back in. I thought about going with Raptor liner, and it seems to be that there are two schools of thought. Bed liner is more slippery. Raptor liner, it's harder to move things on. If it chips, it's harder to fix. My experience with it so far has been great. Budget-wise, I wanted to invest more money into doing a full-on tune-up on the truck before I spent any money on anything else, so I'm just going to make do with what I've got now, and then I will put some Raptor liner on it down the road, I imagine. Alright, after a bit of a fall on that camera there, we'll jump in and take a look. Overall, it's not looking too bad. Some wear here and there. I'll sand those guys down. Got some dirt, gotta get rid of, but nothing is rotten through, which is nice. Give it a quick cleaning, let it dry for the rest of the day. I'm going to work on the dry stuff in the engine before I go on to doing all the fluids. So that means spark plugs. This should be a lot of fun. Luckily the engine's not too hot, so hopefully it's not too big a pain to get them out. This side looks like it might be a bit of a challenge, and the other side is even worse. So that'll be fun. Away I go. Okay, so I spoke too soon. I figured doing the stuff under the hood would be the easier way to go to start off with, would be less complications and problems. Turns out that's not the case at all. I guess that most of the spark plug wires are kind of rotten. I guess you'd get that in a vehicle with 500,000 kilometers on it, and they probably never changed. I don't even think that the plug wires were ever taken off. So one already tore off. I don't know how easy it's going to be to get the spark plugs out. Got some tri-flow on there. So I'm gonna just play around with this, but new wires are in order. So that means I'll try to get these guys done, and then hopefully the fluid stuff is easier. Managed to get it out. Tri-flow helped. But here's something that people will find super interesting. New plug versus old plug. I guess what ends up happening after 500,000 kilometers is that your electrode evaporates. That would probably explain why this guy was having a bit of a stumbling issue when we were driving it. I cannot wait to show Tim a picture of this. He is going to laugh. I have never seen anything like that before. Well, that was a crazy job, but I got them all out. And every last one of them was the same problem. It's a tiny bit of a nub on that guy, which was the last one I did take out, but nothing left whatsoever. Now, well, I thought that was going to be the easiest one, like I said earlier. Now, who knows what to expect next. Next up is the air filter. I took the screws off, but I haven't opened it up to have a look. So it'll be my reaction, will be a true reaction when I open this up and see. Who knows the last time it was changed? Oh, this guy doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah, it's a bit dirty. Could use a fresh one. But not what I expected. Certainly not like the spark plugs, that's for sure. Got a new guy over here. In Napa Gold. Let's see. Oh, look at that. In, bolt that down in a sec. Way easier, way easier than spark plugs. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next, probably the oil. This is what we're going with. Got some amsoil high mileage, 5W30, a Wix filter of course, and a bit of Lucas, considering the high kilometers on this old girl. Smells fun. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Oh, look at that. Oh, there she goes. Okay, so filter's back on. Now, this guy here. Instructions say 20% of the bottle on newer engines, 50% of the bottle on older engines. I would go so far as to say this is probably an older engine. Oh, that's some thick stuff. I'd say that's about half. Good enough. Now that flows a lot smoother than the other one. Now I chose this oil because it is the high mileage oil for engines with 75,000 plus miles. I figured this old girl qualifies for that one at 500,000. Because I put the Lucas in already, and I'm not really 100% sure on how much of a difference it's going to make in terms of volume, I'm just going to put these 5 quarts in, and then I will finish up with the 6th. Once I get it running, all 5 are in, filter's on. That means that I get to go and work on the fun of the transmission fluid change and gasket change next. I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to be messy. Then the front and rear diff. And then she's good. Bit of a damper day than yesterday, but the show must go on. It's raining. You know what? I'm not made of sugar. Or am I? Well, I guess we'll find out soon. But the next job up is this. Gonna change the oil in the diffs. Add a little bit of Lucas anti-chatter or anti-squawk. So that ended up being just as challenging as I thought. I didn't bother recording anything because, well, there really wasn't much to see and there was a lot of cursing and swearing. Front end is done too, so that means all that's left is doing the transmission. But once I'm finished that means all the fluids in the truck have been changed and there are hopefully a few easier tasks left ahead to do. So we're getting all set up underneath to pull off the transmission pan. Like the other ones, I'm not going to bother showing anybody. You've probably seen it a million times anyway. And some might be asking, why are you doing this in the rain? Because it needs to be done. We need to get this truck back on the road so we can start picking stuff up and hauling things. So hopefully this goes relatively easy. All right, that's done. Nobody needed to see what I went through on that one. Lots of, I don't even know, grunting and groaning, I guess. But one thing that's great is the fact that when you have spare engines with parts kicking around and stores are closed so you can't go and pick up any supplies that day and you want to see if your truck's going to run after doing all this stuff, ran down to the shop, grabbed some spark plug wires that we had on the identical engine that we've got there as a spare. So basically what happens is I got to get those on, going to pour this stuff in, and then good to fire it up. Work on the blocks for a bit too so I can get toolbox back in, get it off my couch, and be ready to take it for a rip. Plug wires are in, and it even looks as though they might be a little bit of an upgrade. They're like a max power thing versus the stock guys here. You can see the catastrophe that went on. That was a lot of fun. So now, fluids back in the transmission, and then be ready to fire it up and see how she goes. Okay folks, moment of truth. Battery's hooked back up, fluids are all back in, everything's connected up. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, very nice. No lights on the dash except for that tire sensor thing. I don't know, I filled the tire up and it's still giving me an issue, so there's probably something wrong there. Sounds pretty good. Gonna be a bit smoky since I poured a little bit of fluid onto the exhaust by accident, but that's all fine and good. All right, running way better than it has in a bit. Nice and smooth. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I took it for a drive and it ran a little bit rough, throwing an engine code, put the scanner on it, said that there's a misfire on cylinder 6. Tried swapping the coil pack over to see, the problem persisted. Tim thinks that it's clogged injectors, even though we put some fuel system cleaner in it. So we're gonna pull the fuel rail off, pull the injectors off, and give them a cleaning in the ultrasonic, right?
That is the plan. Oh, Chevy, you make everything so easy. You don't. 'Cause you're a pain in my ass.
All right, got them all out. Was, I guess, enough of a challenge, but not horrible. All right there. Off to off to ultrasonic cleaning now. So the white truck is set to hit the road. Here is the list of stuff that we've done to it. Got rid of the rust spots in the box with spray-on bed liner, threw the box liner back in. Toolbox is in. Tools are in the toolbox. Fender flares are on. Rocker guard along the bottom. Restored the headlights. New bulbs. Changed the front and rear diff fluid. Changed the oil. Changed the transmission fluid. Then we changed all the spark plugs. Had an issue with the coil pack because the truck wasn't running well. Replaced it. Runs well now. New spark plug wires. New air filter. And we're gonna do, I think, a leveling kit in it. Do the ball joints and tie rod end. Right now though, we're set. All right, so we've hit the road. Running smooth. Got a couple of warning lights on the dash. Service tire monitor system. That's all that's popping up this morning.
That's how you know it's
Oh wait, service airbag too. Otherwise though, running nice and smooth. We're just doing a cardboard run this morning. And yeah, that's it. Overall,
look at that. Here's a tour of the cab. No, it's a solid little truck. You know, what is it, 500 and how many thousand kilometers?
535,000 kilometers.
There you go, just getting broken in. I think we're gonna do an endurance test, is how far we can go before it breaks down, but we'll see how long it runs before it finally decides to quit, and then we'll put something else in here. And
with everything that we've done to it, it is a completely different truck this morning compared to the day that we picked it up and started and brought it home. Like it runs smooth. It goes to show what a liquid tune-up can do, right? And some new plugs and a coil pack.
a freshly rebuilt engine.
Yep, pretty
and
much.
Don't forget, we did ultrasonic and test all of the fuel injectors.
That's right. I forgot to mention that earlier. They were all done as well.
So they were all pulled out. We don't have one of those flow testy things, but I just hooked it up to a old booster and checked to see if they clicked on and off, and then blasted some, it's like brake clean, but it's that electrical contact cleaner stuff through it, and a couple rounds in the ultrasonic cleaner, and all we're spraying nice.
Yeah, I think overall it's just a little bit of front end stuff that needs to be done. It's tight but loose at the same time, if that makes any sense.
And college jigs for you.
And that's it. We can start pulling the trailer, pulling Betsy.
Yeah, we gotta go see if we get excuse me, Betsy fired up in the next couple days.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Go take her for a little lake rip. Oh, I guess we need a trailer. There's a trailer. Gotta get the boat off it.
Yeah, we gotta fix up her trailer. Oh yeah, there we go.
Wow, the shifting is fantastic now.
Oh, it's clunking like crazy before we threw in the Lucas. So yeah, that's it. White truck on the road, running well. Thanks for watching, folks. It was definitely an interesting one. I can't say I always enjoy working in the driveway, but I'm glad with the results. Have a good one.